Hello, good evening to you. Warm welcome to Business Live. Coming up in this edition, government makes significant progress towards reaching a deal with Eurobond holders and external creditors by close of this month. Also in this bulletin, Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications attributes internet connectivity challenges to outages on multiple submarines optic fiber cables. Plus, Cybersecurity Authority issues alert on increasing blackmailing activities through the internet as it warns the public to be careful when sharing personal information on social media platforms. We have these and many others for you. Please stay. Thanks so much for your company. I am Pius Kojo Baka. The International Monetary Fund is urging African countries, including Ghana, to rethink their fiscal policy following repeated external and domestic shocks from rising debt vulnerabilities on their economies. Under unchanged policies, the fund said the region's public debt to the size of the economy will continue to trend upward, increasing by over 10 percentage points over the next 5 years. This, it warns, would crowd out private investment, raise foreign risk, and limit countries' ability to invest in human and physical capital. Victor Gaspar is the director of the Fiscal Affairs Department at the International Monetary Fund and has been speaking at the 12th African Fiscal Forum.
The IMF has been asking the question, how to pay for it all? The question is relevant for all of the IMF membership, but it is particularly pressing for countries in sub-Saharan Africa with the large development spending demands. From mid-2022 to the end of 2023, no country from sub-Saharan Africa issued in Eurobond markets. That was a manifestation of ABE's great funding squeeze. That has changed in January and February with a number of countries issuing significant amounts. But the coupon rates and yields in secondary markets, not shown, have stayed very high.
The government has made some significant progress towards reaching a deal with Eurobond holders and external creditors by the end of this month. This is based on outcome of the latest round of meetings with the parties in Paris, France earlier this month. George Yafe tells us more.
This is what we have picked up from persons negotiating this deal on behalf of the government of Ghana as well as the external creditors. Joy Business understands that when it comes to the bilateral creditors, that engagement can be said to have been closed. However, we've not been able to lay hands on the terms in this agreement. But when it comes to the Eurobond holders, it can be described as 90% complete. If things should proceed as expected, then an announcement could be made in April 2024. We are also learning that government has stepped down proposals from the external creditors that there should be an assurance if the economy should perform more than what they have projected, then they should be compensated by government. That's what they will pay them for the bonds that they are holding. Ghana is hoping to restructure about $13 billion worth of external commercial creditors' debts. The decision by these bilateral and commercial creditors to open negotiations with government in January this year helped Ghana to secure the first tranche of cash from the IMF under the fund program. It has also helped in the resumption of some stalled projects in the country. Completing this deal could also open up another challenge, that is, a clear date that Ghana could start servicing its debts that was frozen over the past years because of the current challenges facing the economy.
Let's expand on this further and let's go on phone and speak to economist Professor Lord Mensah for more. Thanks so much, Professor Mensah, for your time here on Business Live. Now, do you hold the view that Ghana has unnecessarily delayed in closing a deal with external creditors and, of course, Eurobond holders?
I will put a few like that. I can tell you that negotiating with commercial creditors is different from credit. And so that delay I was expecting. But then the most important is that we get it where parties are converging, the agreement we have. So from where a good signal, and then for the first time in Ghana will, the actual, because I'm saying that suspended our, there's no way we can reach some of the economic that are coming out, including even inflation that record on our market. We know very well that exchange rate feeds into inflation, and if that everything is there, that's when we'll get the true state of demand of the dollar on our market. That is when the two levels of inflation and even the transmission effect with interest rate structure of the globe. So, I this edit and at the end of God, that get to know our level when it comes to economic numbers.
Professor Mensah, I would plead with you to speak up a bit for me, because we're not making any, clearer sense of what you're saying. But do you hold the view again that a deal could be finalized by the end of this month, looking at the fact that there have always been some challenges that have led to rescheduling of the dates?
Yeah, I mean, if you have an agreement and the agreement is 90% through, then it means that it's almost, a done deal to have an agreement. But like I was saying, for the first time, Ghana will get to know its true state of the economy. So once, we get an agreement from commercial creditors and we start servicing our debt, the true state of the economy will be felt.
I don't know what you make of, the new finance minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Really, do you think he would have an influence in reaching a deal soon?
I don't think the personality matters. I mean, it has to do with Ghana. But the creditor extended the credit facility to a country Ghana, not Oforiata or the current finance minister. So I think we have to do with the country, not, the individual.
Professor Mensah, let's make progress. After a deal is reached, what do you foresee to be the next development? Is Ghana going to have an improved credit ratings that may open the door for the country to go back to the international market to borrow?
Yeah, we may get, a good credit rating, but then that shouldn't push us to rush to the international market. Like I was saying, if you look at the current state of our economy, because government has not started a full service of its debt, whatever we are recording in terms of exchange rate, that feeds into inflation, I would say, kind of temporal, numbers. Until we get to a full-fledged, debt service, that's when we'll get to know that, our exchange rate is at a particular level or not, and how it fits into inflation. So we may get, credit rating improved, but I would say it shouldn't push us to get to the international market. We need to do a lot of work, at home before we start looking at, the international market.
Very well. Now, to this development story we are learning, now the International Monetary Fund is urging African countries, including Ghana, to rethink their fiscal policy following repeated external and domestic shocks from rising debt vulnerabilities in their economies. The question has always been about Ghana having homegrown policies. Do you think there is room to implement homegrown policies that will help the country wean itself off foreign support and, of course, grow the real sector of the economy?
Yes, there's more room to, look at our homegrown policies. I think it looks like, we look at this policy as, a hurting policy to our citizens. And that is why we've been focusing more on external inflows. But from where I sit, I think as a country we need to sacrifice, to look inward, and that will go a long way to help the country.
Professor Lord Mensah, we are indeed grateful for your time here on Business Live. Let's move on to some other stories, which of course is developing here in Ghana. The Chamber of Telecommunications has attributed the difficulty in accessing internet connectivity today to outages on multiple submarine optic fiber cables that came into Ghana. Now, explained in a statement that some of the cables are down while others are delivering limited capacity. More in this report.
According to the chamber, the development is impacting internet, data and voice over IP services of the mobile network operators and data service providers to varying degrees. It pointed out that, as a result, customers and subscribers are currently experiencing service challenges. The chamber assured that further investigations are being carried out, as well as work to resolve the problems to restore services to customers. The statement concluded that the inconvenience to customers is deeply regretted.
The Cybersecurity Authority has announced that there is a sharp rise in the number of online blackmail cases reported to its points of contact. The authority in a statement has advised the public to be careful when interacting with strangers on the internet. The authority has also warned the public against sharing personal data on social media platforms. Here is more.
Issued by the authority disclosed that in the first 2 months of 2024, the Cybersecurity Authority received 85 reports, representing over 254% increase of blackmail cases compared to the same period last year. It explained that online blackmail occurs when an individual or a group uses digital communication methods to threaten someone with the disclosure of sensitive, embarrassing, or private information unless a demand is met. The authority is therefore calling on the public to avoid sharing personal or sensitive information online and be mindful of the contents posted online, as malicious actors can use it to profile unsuspecting people.
Let's go on the phone lines and engage Isaac Socrates-Mensah, who is the Senior Manager in charge of Computer Emergency Response Team at the Cybersecurity Authority. Isaac, thanks so much for your time. Now, how serious is the issue of blackmail getting on the internet?
Thank you very much. Good evening. I hope you can hear me.
I can, loud and clear.
Okay, yes. So it's getting quite serious. That's why we put out this public. So the whole of last year, 2023, we received about 157 cases of the online blackmail for the entire year. However, we received, as compared to this year, just in January and February, we have received about 85 cases. And if this trend is going to continue to even half of the year, we are likely to have quite a lot of cases that is going to happen. And most often than not, the cases that are reported to us are just a fraction of whatever is out there actually. So it tells us that there's many more out there that is not even reported to us yet. And if this is what we have, then it's quite something serious out there that we have to bring out this public alert to inform people about what is happening.
So for many people that are afraid to come out, what is your recommendations to people who may unknowingly fall prey to these people?
It's very, very important to report such issues. In that it goes along with to protect you, because once you are reporting it to the authority, means that we are going to go through some kind of investigations and all that to identify some of these people who are behind it. And also, reporting also helps in also getting others who are going to fall victim to some of these things. Also get to know that if all these 85 have decided not to report, they wouldn't be having this interview in the first place. So there is a big need to report it so that we are able to alert people about things that are happening and how they can identify and prevent it. Okay, or even in the instance where they fall victim, what they should do. Okay, it's very important.
We've got to curb this menace, Isaac. Give us an idea of how many arrests you've been able to make, and of course, your collaboration with the police in that regard.
Okay, so I'm not with the law enforcement unit. I'll have to get the numbers from them. I know there are quite a number of cases that we are following up in the court. Okay, so I might not be able to, but the Cybersecurity Authority, as a government agency, does not have arresting power. So we do a lot of collaborations with other security agents like YOCO, the CID, Ghana Police. I mean, when you go to Section 13 of our Act, we have what we call the Joint Cybersecurity Committee, the list of institutions that we work with. We leverage on their various functions and the various powers to do what we do. So yes, we have a lot of collaborations. Once we are done with the investigation, we fall on the power to make the necessary arrests.
All right, thank you very much, Isaac Socrates Mensah, for your time here on Business Live. You're still watching Business Live. We are pausing for a breather. We'll be right back with more. Please stay. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Minister for Transport, Kweku Ofori-Siama, has been summoned to provide urgent answers to members of Parliament over new charges by the Ghana Airport Company as maintenance fees. Starting May 1, travelers using the Kotoka International Airport in Accra will be required to pay a fee of $20 for maintenance work and to help cover the cost of baggage belt repairs. A letter from the management of the Ghana Airport Company Limited to the chairperson of the Airport Operators Committee of the Kotoka International Airport announced that the new fee will be implemented for travelers departing from the airport, will help apply to all round-trip tickets. Haruna Idrisu, who raised the issue on the floor of Parliament, described the charge as illegal since Parliament had not approved it.
Public importance because what authority does the Ghana Airport Company have to impose fees and charges? And is these charges consistent with the Fees and Charges Act approved by the Parliament of Ghana? So, Mr. Speaker, I've seen a letter Ghana Airports Company signed Yvonne Nana Afriye Opare, Mrs. Managing Director. And Mr. Speaker, I read it for a record. Further to discussions with the executives of Airport Operations Committee, AOC, regarding our baggage belt overhauling and maintenance issue, the Board of Directors of Ghana Airports Company, in consultation with Ministry of Transport, institutes maintenance charges of $20 on all-round airline trips and $12. Mr. Speaker, that will be cost to Ghanaian travelers from abroad to Ghana. Yeah, $20 on all-round air trips and $10 to be charged one way. And this fee will be effective May 1st, 2024. Mr. Speaker, I think that the Minister for Transport will have to be hauled by you to this House to explain the authority of the Ghana Airports Company and to explain to Ghanaians where he derives the authority and mandate from and whether this is consistent with our Fees and Charges Act. We owe it to Ghanaians abroad and within, those of you who travel, that you should never be taken unaware on side charges. Mr. Speaker.
Moving on to some other stories, report by the Brew Hammond Energy Center at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology indicates that the challenges of land litigation in the country is affecting investments in solar-powered energy projects. This has been highlighted as one of the setbacks for Ghana in meeting the deadline for the energy transition process under the Sustainable Development Goals. At a dissemination workshop to share findings from the work, Director of Brew Hammond Energy Center at KNUST, Dr. David Atukwansa, explains more in the following report.
The research by the Brew Hammond Energy Center highlights some specific challenges of land access and acquisition in Ghana. The situation is making the country uncompetitive as compared to neighboring countries in attracting investors for renewable energy. According to the director of Brew Hammond Energy Center at the KNUST, Dr. David Atukwansa, multiple sales and multiple owners, especially in areas around the southern sector, dominate the discussion among investors coming into the country.
DXC, which is the only major private actor that has done the megawatt scale project, has also some experience with land acquisition. So we engage them, and their experiences vary what we realized is that down south, you have the risk of multiple sale of land. So the investors have to put a lot more effort into ensuring that those who say they own the lands are really the owners of the land.
Dr. Kwanzaa also spoke about the importance of the report and some recommendations that must be considered by stakeholders.
It will require a lot more money for you to do projects in Ghana compared with elsewhere. So we can lose investment to other competitors. Capital is free to go anywhere. So yeah, it can affect it. So there is a need to streamline the process. So in today's workshop, some of the recommendations that have come up is that there is need for intersectoral collaboration. So for instance, the Lands Commission, the Ministry of Energy, and other actors can streamline the process, of course, together with those who own the land. Yeah.
The report is expected to be submitted to the Ministry of Energy and the Energy Commission for onward review and implementation.
Climate-smart agricultural and green businesses driven by women tend to help in poverty alleviation in deprived communities in Ghana. According to the country director of Plan International, Constant Tochana, investing in women empowerment sets a direct path towards gender equality and inclusive economic growth in our societies. He spoke at the national level advocacy to climax International Women's Day in Accra.
This year's Plan International Women's Innovation for Sustainability Enterprises National Level Advocacy was on the theme Fostering Economic Justice and Equality for Women Leaders in Business and Entrepreneurship for Accelerated Economic Growth. In an interview with Joy Business, the country director of Plan International Ghana, Constant Tochana, believes women need to be granted access to productive resources to ensure inclusive economic equality across every facet of society.
You have things about access to what we call productive resources. Land, because when we're talking about agriculture, women actually need to have access to land and be able to farm. And it's not easy to have access to the land and control over the land. It is also issues about access to financial resources, access to fund, credit and loans to invest into their businesses. We need to make the loan condition more flexible, for women, so they can have access to more financial resources to grow their businesses. But it's also an issue of being able to give them space, to participate in decision making.
Rose Awilena is the project manager for the Women's Innovation for Sustainability Enterprises.
And we are focusing on two economic streams. We are looking at the agribusiness value chain and then the green business value chain. So when I say the agribusiness value chain, we are looking at supporting women with all the activities along the soya value chain, right from soya cultivation till the final product gets to the consumers. And then for green businesses, we are looking at businesses that the women can do, that they can earn an income and then still help to improve and protect the environment. So we are talking about mushroom cultivation, snail rearing, and then beekeeping. We set out to reach a target of 2,641 women, but as we've reached about 14,123 women across all the 5 project locations that we are working in.
The WISE project is a 5-year project funded by Global Affairs Canada in collaboration with Plan International Ghana and Plan International Canada, together with local implementing partners, Ubernet and WIDO, as well as private sector stakeholders.
And that's it for Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojo Baka, and I would like to take you straight to myjoyonline.com/business, great portal there. Rethink fiscal policy measures to ensure sustainability, reduce shocks, and that's according to IMF to Ghana and others. Also, telecoms chamber attributes internet connectivity challenges to outages on multiple submarine optic fiber cables. And we brought you that story here on Business Live. And that's how we part company. See you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.